What you're about to hear will absolutely destroy everything you thought you knew about one of WWE's most beloved couples. The wrestling world is in complete chaos right now, and honestly, after digging into this story for weeks, I'm still shaking. Ricochet, the high-flying superstar we've all cheered for, just made a decision that has left the entire WWE universe speechless. And when you find out what Samantha Irvin was hiding behind that perfect smile and those flawless ring introductions, you're going to understand why fans are calling this the most shocking betrayal in WWE history. Before we dive into this absolute nightmare, smash that like button if you want the real story that WWE executives are desperately trying to keep quiet. Hit subscribe and ring that notification bell because this channel is the only place getting you the uncensored truth that other wrestling channels are too scared to report. Trust me, you're going to want to share this with every wrestling fan you know. Here's what happened, and I'm warning you, this is going to hurt. Multiple sources close to the situation have confirmed that Ricochet discovered something so devastating about his wife Samantha Irvin that he immediately filed for divorce. We're talking about a secret so explosive that it could end careers, destroy reputations, and completely change how you view one of WWE's most trusted voices. For months, wrestling fans have watched Ricochet and Samantha as the perfect couple. She's been the golden voice of WWE, introducing our favorite superstars with that incredible energy and professionalism that made her irreplaceable. He's been soaring through the air, delivering those breathtaking moves that remind us why we fell in love with professional wrestling in the first place. They seemed untouchable, unbreakable, the kind of power couple that makes you believe in love. But behind the scenes, something sinister was brewing. Sources are telling me that Samantha has been living a double life that would make your head spin. While Ricochet was traveling the world, putting his body on the line for WWE fans, trusting his wife completely, she was involved in activities that go against everything the WWE Universe stands for. The first red flag came 3 months ago when Ricochet started noticing inconsistencies in Samantha's schedule. She would claim to be at certain WWE events, but fellow wrestlers and staff members couldn't confirm her presence. When he tried to surprise her at what she said was a company meeting, she wasn't there. The building was completely empty. Then came the mysterious phone calls, late-night conversations that would end abruptly when Ricochet entered the room, text messages that she would quickly delete before he could see them, credit card statements showing purchases at locations she claimed she'd never visited. The man who trusts everyone was slowly realizing that the person closest to him might be living a lie. But here's where this story gets absolutely insane. Remember when Samantha started getting those special assignment opportunities that seemed to come out of nowhere? The exclusive interviews, the backstage segments, the sudden promotion to more prominent events? Multiple WWE insiders are now confirming that these weren't legitimate company assignments at all. According to my sources, Samantha was using her position as WWE's ring announcer to gain access to confidential company information. We're talking about match results, storyline directions, contract negotiations, and creative decisions that are supposed to be locked down tighter than Fort Knox. She wasn't just accidentally overhearing this information, she was actively seeking it out, recording conversations, and taking photos of documents. And what was she doing with this information? This is where your blood is going to boil. She was selling it. That's right, the voice that introduced your favorite wrestlers was secretly betraying the entire company by leaking insider information to betting websites and dirt sheet newsletters for massive cash payments. The investigation that led to this discovery started when WWE's security team noticed unusual betting patterns that seemed to indicate someone with inside knowledge was influencing gambling markets. Every major upset, every surprise return, every title change that was supposed to shock the audience, someone was making huge profits by betting on outcomes that should have been impossible to predict. When WWE's private investigators started tracing the leak, all roads led back to Samantha. They found encrypted communications, offshore bank accounts, and a network of contacts in the underground wrestling betting world that she had been cultivating for over a year. The woman who earned the trust of every wrestler in the locker room was selling out their hard work for personal gain. But wait, it gets worse. Much worse. Sources are telling me that Samantha wasn't working alone. She had recruited other WWE employees to help gather information, creating an entire spy network within the company. Ring crew members, production assistants, even some lower-level executives were feeding her confidential details in exchange for cuts of her betting profits. The damage to WWE's credibility is incalculable. When fans invest emotionally in storylines, when they buy tickets believing they're witnessing authentic competition, when they trust that the outcomes aren't predetermined by outside gambling interests, that's the foundation of everything professional wrestling stands for. Samantha Irvin didn't just betray her husband, she betrayed every single person who has ever cheered in a WWE arena. Ricochet's discovery of this betrayal happened in the most heartbreaking way possible. According to sources close to the situation, he found evidence while trying to plan a surprise for their anniversary. He was looking through her laptop to find photos for a romantic video tribute when he stumbled across encrypted files containing match results for events that hadn't happened yet, along with communication logs showing her coordination with gambling syndicates. The man who performs death-defying moves without hesitation, who faces opponents twice his size without fear, reportedly broke down completely when he realized what he had found. Multiple witnesses say they've never seen Ricochet so devastated. This wasn't just discovering an affair or a financial problem, this was learning that the person he loved most in the world was actively working against everything he had dedicated his life to achieving. The confrontation between them allegedly lasted for hours. Samantha initially tried to deny everything, then claimed she was being blackmailed, and finally admitted to the scheme while trying to justify it as a way to secure their financial future. She apparently told Ricochet that WWE doesn't pay enough and that everyone in the company was corrupt anyway, so she was just leveling the playing field. But here's what makes this story even more infuriating. My sources tell me that Samantha's betrayal wasn't limited to match results and storylines. She was also sharing private personal information about wrestlers' real-life relationships, health problems, and family situations. Information that wrestlers trusted her with because they saw her as family, because they respected her position in the company, because they never imagined she would use their vulnerabilities against them. Think about every wrestler who confided in Samantha about their struggles, their fears, their hopes for their careers. Think about every private moment backstage that she witnessed and then potentially sold to the highest bidder. The violation of trust goes beyond anything we've seen in professional wrestling history. WWE's legal team is apparently working around the clock to determine the full extent of the damage. They're reviewing every major storyline decision from the past year, every surprise appearance, every championship change, trying to figure out which outcomes might have been compromised by Samantha's information leaks. The company is also investigating whether any match results were actually influenced by the betting syndicate she was working with. The wrestling community's reaction has been swift and brutal. Wrestlers who worked closely with Samantha are reportedly feeling violated and betrayed. Many are questioning whether their own personal information was sold, whether their career prospects were affected by her actions, whether storylines they were involved in were authentic or manipulated by outside gambling interests. Social media is exploding with reactions from fans who feel deceived. People are questioning whether the matches they watched were legitimate competition or predetermined outcomes designed to benefit gambling operations. The trust between WWE and its audience, something that took decades to build, has been severely damaged by one person's greed. But perhaps the most heartbreaking aspect of this entire situation is what it's done to Ricochet personally. Multiple sources describe him as completely shattered. The man who brought joy to millions of fans with his incredible athleticism is now dealing with a betrayal so profound that it's affecting his ability to perform. Recent matches show a wrestler who seems distracted, hesitant, not the confident high-flyer we're used to seeing. Friends close to Ricochet say he's questioning everything now. If the person he trusted most in the world could deceive him so completely, how can he trust anyone? If his own wife was working against the company he loves, how can he be sure about anyone else's motivations? The psychological impact of this betrayal extends far beyond just their marriage, it's affecting his entire worldview. The divorce proceedings are expected to be brutal. WWE's legal team is reportedly supporting Ricochet fully, providing resources to ensure that Samantha doesn't benefit financially from her betrayal. There are discussions about pursuing criminal charges for corporate espionage, breach of contract, and potentially even racketeering if the gambling connections prove extensive enough. What makes this situation even more tragic is that Ricochet genuinely loved and trusted Samantha. Everyone who knew them described their relationship as authentic and supportive. He frequently credited her with helping him navigate the challenges of WWE's demanding schedule and high-pressure environment. To discover that the person who was supposed to be his strongest supporter was actually undermining everything he worked for, that's a level of betrayal that most people can't even comprehend. The ripple effects of this scandal are still unfolding. WWE is reportedly implementing new security measures to prevent similar breaches in the future. Background checks are being intensified, access to confidential information is being restricted, and there are discussions about completely restructuring how sensitive company information is handled and shared. For the wrestling industry as a whole, this scandal raises serious questions about integrity and trust. If someone in Samantha's position could operate a sophisticated information selling scheme for over a year without detection, what other breaches of trust might be happening? How can fans be confident that what they're watching is legitimate entertainment rather than outcomes predetermined by gambling interests? The human cost of this betrayal cannot be understated. Ricochet isn't just losing a wife, he's losing his faith in the people around him, his confidence in the industry he loves, and his peace of mind about the future. The man who made audiences gasp with his incredible aerial moves is now dealing with emotional trauma that no amount of athletic ability can overcome. As this story continues to develop, one thing is clear: the wrestling world will never be the same. The trust between performers and fans, between WWE and its audience, between wrestlers and their colleagues, all of it has been damaged by one person's decision to prioritize personal profit over professional integrity. The investigation is ongoing, and sources tell me there are even more shocking revelations coming. If you want to stay updated on this developing story and get information that mainstream wrestling media won't report, make sure you're subscribed to this channel with notifications turned on. What do you think about this situation? How do you feel knowing that someone you trusted was potentially manipulating the outcomes of matches you invested in emotionally? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's discuss how the wrestling community moves forward from this unprecedented betrayal. This is the kind of story that reminds us why independent wrestling journalism matters. While other channels might focus on kayfabe and entertainment, we're here to bring you the real stories that affect the industry we all love. The truth isn't always comfortable, but it's always necessary. Stay tuned for more updates on this developing situation, and remember, you heard it here first on WWE Reporter, the only channel bringing you the uncensored truth about professional wrestling.